You are listening to the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks.
Morning, Auburn family. Welcome back to Inside the Jungle, your source for Auburn men's basketball analysis and discussion on the E2C Network. Man, this historic and extremely fun season comes to an abrupt end in the round of 32 for your Auburn Tigers as they lose to Miami by a score of 79-61 in the round of 32 after beating Jacksonville State in the round of 64 by a score of 80-61. We'll talk about these two games, talk about the fun of the tournament, talk about some other stuff going on around the NCAA tournament. You know, we're a little late to the game right now. It's the Elite Eight is being played tonight. The first round of the Elite Eight is being played tonight. We don't know when you're listening to this, but there's some crazy stuff going on in this tournament, and Auburn was a part of one of the big upsets in the second round, and it was awful. It sucked. But to do it and to talk about it, brought in Dad and co-host again. Dad, this one's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, these are never fun, but only one team ends on a win.
That's true.
So it took us a while to get to this podcast because it was hard to get over that Sunday night game. But I enjoyed. And I will enjoy talking about the Jacksonville State game, but the Miami game will not be fun to talk about.
Yeah, well, before we get into any Auburn-related or these two basketball games, let's talk about what's going on in this NCAA tournament. There's some crazy stuff.
Kentucky lost.
Going on. What
first round
in the world happened to Kentucky? What? Okay, I get
they got peacocked.
We're in the Elite Eight now. So I can understand St. Peter's is pretty good. They've gone on to beat Murray State and Purdue. And they will play against North Carolina on Sunday for right to go to the Final Four. To probably play against Duke. Which, again, we'll talk about here in a second. Let's keep clowning Kentucky. What in the world? Y'all just lost to a 15 seed. Oh, wait. You had all your players, so it counts.
All the players were there and healthy. Ty was not very good in that game, by the way.
No, he was not.
He did not play well. Maybe he was sick or had a head cold or something.
So it doesn't
Kentucky
count.
Fans. So it doesn't count. Although it counts. Not only did you not win the SEC regular season, you didn't win the SEC tournament, and you got out in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So, yes, I can clown on you a little bit. And you had the best player in the world. Sheboy's the best player in the world, unless they call 3 seconds.
Yeah. Another thing in this tournament, and this will kind of go along to clowning Kentucky as well, the Elite Eight matchup that we have not seen yet, we will see on Sunday. We're recording this early Saturday morning. We will see on Sunday night is the North Carolina versus St. Peter's matchup for right to go to the Final Four. North Carolina, a bubble team going into the very end of the season. I don't think they get into the tournament if they don't win a few games in the ACC tournament or that game in Coach K's final game in Cameron. They have caught fire and they're in the Elite Eight now. They're playing a 15 seed to go to the Final Four. And on the top side of that bracket is either Duke or Arkansas. Could we possibly see
Go Piggies?
Could we possibly see a Duke North Carolina Final Four game?
It would break the state of North Carolina. That would be the fourth. That would be the third time they played this year. Fourth time they will have played this year. No, third time because they didn't get into the tournament together. Carolina, when they lost to Pitt late in the year, it was NIT. They weren't even going to make the field. They beat Duke and Cameron, and then won a game in the tournament and got in as a 8 seed. 8 seed. So they got in late and
pounded
and they're on fire. Look, talk about weird games. They're ahead of Baylor by 25 with 10 minutes to go. And the officials decided, wait, this is a 1 seed. We can't have a 1 seed go out this quickly. And threw Manick out of the game, who was going to have probably 40 in that game if he stayed. And then called every ticky-tack on Carolina, didn't call muggings against Baylor, and then went to overtime. Up 25 with 10 minutes to go to overtime. I did not think they'd pull it out in overtime, but they did. And then look, who'd have thought St. Peter's has got to beat Kentucky, North Carolina, and Duke on their way to the Final Four?
Oh my!
Who does that? Who on earth has done that before? Nobody's beaten that many blue bloods. All you got to do is throw Kansas in. They may play them in the championship game.
That is
nobody's done that.
Absolutely before. Crazy. But we have gone completely off subject there. But let's get back to talking about this Auburn Tiger. Let's talk about the positive from this NCAA tournament, and all the positive come in the first round matchup against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is a matchup for Auburn that it kind of worried me earlier because of their 3-point shooting and their guards. Look, you get hot from 3-point shooting in the tournament, that you can do anything you want. St. Peter's is doing that.
The anatomy of an upset.
It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes.
Don't turn the ball over. And they were hot early. They made 5 of their first 7 threes, and I was like, wow, surely this can't last. I mean, I have watched them play in their ASUN tournament, and they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn door in their own gym.
Yeah.
And then they came out in that game in Greenville and hit the 5 of their first 7. And but look, Auburn is deeper in every position, bigger, stronger, faster in every position. There's not a kid at Jacksonville State that would probably play much at Auburn. So they took over. Auburn went on it's like a 20-2 run to end the first half.
Yeah. Something
amazing like that. And never looked back.
Never looked back. Exactly. Talk about some of the stat lines and some of the players from that game. Jabari Smith continues to show why he's the number 1 pick in the draft with 20 points and 14 rebounds at 4 of 7 from 3. That was one of Jabari's best games.
And he ended a man's life.
He ended Brandon Huff. Brandon Huffman's a 7-foot thick, big guy, big athletic center. And Jabari just put him on a body.
Yep, chest to chest up over him, and it was stupid. Again, this is one of those that you go back and you watch that, and I'm sure everybody's watched it 15,000 times.
Oh yeah,
but just watch it for Wendell Green's reaction. Yeah, he was so funny. He could not stand still after the dunk. And again, Walker kind of goes, "Yes, but then after the game, Katie Johnson was like, "I've never seen him do anything like that in practice or anything." That was the reporter in the post game was funny. He said, "What about the dunk?" And Katie was like, "Did y'all see that?" Yes, Katie, we all saw that.
Yeah,
everybody in the world saw that, and we'll see that over and over again. That will be on one shining moment at the end of the championship game. So
that's right.
A chance to enjoy that.
Another stat line from this game: Walker Kessler 1 block away from his 3rd triple-double of the season, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 9 blocks. Another stupid, incredible game from Walker Kessler. The stat sheet, I think, if he wasn't already, I think that put him in the top 20, top 18, maybe top 16 category in the NBA draft.
Come back.
I think he
come back, Walker. Come back, Walker.
Goes
Walker, let's get you an NIL deal and come back and work on your hook shot and your three-point shot. Yeah. Got to develop a hook shot
and your free throw. You get Walker goes 1 for 4 from the free throw line.
He started the year as a really good free throw shooter.
Yeah,
and ended the year terribly. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, this is the game that I want to remember Jabari and Walker, because we've told you people all year long, enjoy Jabari while you have him. And this is the game that you can pull up on YouTube and watch the game again and just enjoy watching Jabari play, because next year he'll be in an NBA jersey, and hopefully it won't be the Pistons.
Hopefully not the Pistons that way.
Okay. Maybe the Magic with Chuma.
I'd be more okay with that than the Pistons. I still wouldn't like that. I've seen the Timberwolves. As much as I don't like it, I don't like the fit there because I don't like the Timberwolves. That'd be a fantastic place for him to go, because there's actually good players on that team.
Is that Edwards? Anthony Edwards?
Edwards and Towns.
Towns?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that would be a stupid good team. Anyway,
so
all right.
We'll see. It depends who's first.
Good game, much better game. By the way, after KD had such a struggle in the SEC tournament, They came out and they ran a flex cut the first play of the game against Jacksonville State to get him a layup and get him started, and it did. It worked. Yeah. He ended up with 10 points. He didn't shoot a lot in the second half, but he had a career high 7 assists. Which KD Johnson passing the ball like that's incredible.
Look, he passed the ball at a fast break too, and I about lost it when I saw that. I was like, "What? You know how to do that? Wait, why are we starting this now?"
Yeah. So, played a good game. I enjoyed it.
Excited for KD. Get back in a little rhythm. As we move on to one of the most painful games I've ever sat and watched and just had to take in. As Auburn goes up against the 10 seed and Miami beat USC, the 7 seed, to play against Auburn in the round of 32. I
actually wanted Miami to win that game.
Me too.
I thought it was better. I know their guards are good, but they didn't have any bigs.
Yeah.
And so I thought our bigs would destroy them, and our bigs played horribly.
Yep. Yeah. Most games in the tournament are won and lost by the guards.
Yep.
And that's been the case for this Auburn team, the whole year. You've been consistent with your big guys, and all your big guys have been fantastic. Not just Jabari and Walker. I mean, Jalen and Dylan have been really, really good as well. So you go each of Auburn's close games, you could say, you don't point it to one guy, you don't point it to one position group, you don't point it to one play.
Yeah.
But each of Auburn's losses, you can say, okay, there's one of the reasons why we lost. And it has been most of the guards. That was not the case in this Miami game, and it showed in the final score. Auburn, the highest loss this year, I believe, was 6.
We have not been getting blown out of games.
Not because of our defense and because of our consistency from our 2 bigs, Walker and Jabari. Yep. Auburn gets beat by 18 in this basketball game, gets outscored by 17 in the second half after going down by 1 at halftime. And halftime, I thought, okay, we're good. Jabari's got 4 points. We're down 1. Not a deal.
Yeah, me too.
We're fine.
I agree. But I thought the same thing. I thought we're down 1. He had missed the free throw on the 3-point play that would have tied it at halftime. But I thought he's got 4. He's going to have 20.
Yeah.
And we're going to come out and come strong. Walker Kessler, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks. He liked the number 2 in that game. Poor kid couldn't hit anything, anything. He went 2 of 2 from the free throw line. That was his only points. Jabari had 10 points, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers. The thing that I think that we saw from Jabari, though, is even when he is 1 of 8 from 3 and 3 of 16 overall, he had 15 rebounds. Yeah. He wasn't quitting. He wasn't stopping playing. 15 boards is a lot.
He also had 4 assists.
Yeah. And just looking down through the line, KD with 4 turnovers and 1 assist this time. Wendell had 11 points, 3 turnovers, 5 assists. It was bad. We shot 19% from 3, and they only shot 20%, but that's not their game.
Yeah.
Look, Miami's a good basketball team.
Yeah, Miami's a really good basketball team. They've had some really good wins. They went and beat the crap out of that North Carolina team earlier in the year. They went and beat the crap out of Duke in Cameron.
At Cameron, yeah.
So they've got some good wins. They're a good basketball team. They're a well-coached basketball team.
Yep.
And Bruce got out coached in this basketball game. And it's not and I hate to say that because you look at the stat line and we just didn't shoot the ball. If we shoot the ball better, we win this game.
Hey Auburn fans, I want to take a quick timeout from this episode to bring your attention to something very special. Here at the E2C Network, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best content for Auburn fans out there. And best of all, it's free to you. But just because it's free doesn't mean there aren't costs, especially when you have a library of hundreds of podcasts, videos, blogs, and more. Many of you have reached out and asked how you can support this network in the past. Well, now I have your answer. It's called the E2C Network Booster Club over at patreon.com/E2C Network. There you'll find a membership monthly reward system where you can sign up for as little as $1 and get different perks at different tiers. Some of those perks include things such as apparel, eligibility to join us on future podcasts, recognition as an E2C Network booster, exclusive communications, and bonus content that is available nowhere else. If you love this network and want to help us keep producing podcasts like this one, please head on over to patreon.com/E2C Network to join the E2C Network Booster Club. You can also get there by going to our website, e2cnetwork.com/support. Whether you decide to join or not, we are still so appreciative that you would support us by just listening and being here, because each and every one of you is part of our E2C Network family. Well, that's it. Timeout's over. Let's get back into the episode.
If you think about like the defense that Miami was running, and Larinaga said it in his postgame, like we put in a new defense specifically for this type of game because Miami was getting run early in the year. Alabama scored 96 in Miami on this Miami basketball team. 96 points. Wow. We scored 100 on Alabama, but we scored 61 on Miami.
Jim Larinaga is a really good coach. He's been doing it a long time. He obviously watched a lot of film. Everybody watched a lot of film and started taking away our high screen and roll.
Yep.
And we run the flex cut, and they started realizing we weren't looking for the cutter. We were looking for Jabari stepping in off of that flex cut.
Yep.
So they adjusted to that, and they made our guards shoot it, and our guards couldn't shoot it. We need to go in the portal and find a guard who can shoot threes consistently.
You know, something about that high screen and roll, it seems like, okay, especially, you know, I'm not picking on Wendell. I love Wendell. Wendell didn't shoot the ball well, but I thought he played pretty well.
He played well in that game. Yeah, I thought so too.
It always seems like when that ball screen comes, whether it's from Walker or Dylan or Jabari or Jalen or whoever, or Allen, anybody, whenever that ball screen does come, that the double, and Wendell starts dribbling backwards and he gets backed up and the double gets farther and he makes that pass harder on himself and harder and harder and harder. Mm-hmm. And he's putting himself in a bad situation. And he's short. I'm not faulting that, but exactly. He's not a big guy. He can't get out of those situations easily. Mm-hmm. You know, even with a guy like Walker, you know, you can't just throw it up. You can't do that. But something that made Jared Harper so good at that high screen roll, he would get double teamed and he would take it and he'd back up. And then when the other guy went back to Kessler, when the big guy went back to the other big guy, Jared attacked right behind him.
Yeah.
Really
followed him. Yeah. You have to attack the double team. Jared also would, when that hedge would come on that screen, Jared would get fouled because he was going towards the basket and the hedge would hit him. Yeah, and not backing away from it. You got to be aggressive and attack the double team. I want to bring up one more player before we get out of these two games. Jaylen Williams had a fantastic tournament.
He was our saving grace. Yeah,
he got the crap knocked out of him by Walker Kessler and lost 2 teeth or cracked.
Should have done that earlier.
But whatever it did, he was fantastic in the Jacksonville State game until he got hurt, and then he went 2 of 3 from 3 and 5 of 8 overall with 12 points and 4 boards against Miami. That's the Jalen that I remember from last year.
Yeah.
That's the guy that you go, yeah, this is it. And Coach Pearl mentioned him in his post game and said, we're going to build a lot of things around Jalen next year because obviously the 4 slot is leaving. And there are some guys out there that play the 4 that may come in, but Jalen is consistent. He's going to be a senior next year. Really proud of what Jalen did.
I completely agree. Completely second everything that you said. And I was going to bring up Jalen as well. Look, Jalen was our saving grace against Miami. Jalen was the reason we were 30 points between anywhere close to this basketball team, especially the first half.
Yeah, great game by Jalen. 2 great games.
That is the perfect way for Jalen. If you're going to win one and lose one, it is the perfect way to have your player, one of your star players for next year, go out and go into next year. Absolutely,
a lot of confidence, a lot of hey, I told you I could do this.
He's seen it. Those are guys. Devin, Allen, and Jalen, and even Dylan that have not seen the NCAA tournament before. Not just because of
COVID and then our sanction.
The ban. Well, we wouldn't have made it last year anyway. But it's the perfect way for Jaylen to go out. We'll talk about a few more things before, a few housekeeping things for this podcast and some stuff around Auburn basketball. First off, Devin Cambridge has entered the transfer portal. I think that is right for both sides.
I do too.
I love Devin. Devin was one of my favorite players to cheer for because he was so exciting. I wish he wouldn't shoot the ball like he did later in the season. He really
struggled. But when he was flying around in the gym, he was more fun. And the smile and the character, just a good dude.
Exactly. And you go back to his freshman year, he was our best shooter. Wow. By far, he'd make 7 threes in one game. And he did it like 4 times.
He's our hottest shooter, that's for sure.
He's such a streaky shooter, incredible guy, incredible. And excited to see where he goes, and we'll cheer for him. No matter where he goes, hope for success for him.
For what it's worth, he and his brother are both in the transfer portal. I'd like to see them play together, and I will cheer for them as long as it's not an SEC team.
Yeah, as long as they're not playing against the Auburn Tigers, I will cheer for Devin Cambridge.
I expect more to go into the transfer portal.
That's what I was going to say next. I don't think that's it.
No, it's not.
I don't think that's it. And I don't think you're going to see any big transfers like we saw with Justin Powell last year. But I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see a guy like. We're not going to name names, but we're not done with the transfer portal. But you're also not done bringing people in. Look, Jabari's gone. Jabari will be the at least minimum top 2 pick. I expect him to be the number 1 overall pick, depending on who is picking number 1.
Yep.
I believe Walker to be gone. I think if he's top 20, top 25, I think he goes. I think Bruce is setting up Walker to be a top 20 pick, even with his struggles against Miami, because look, everybody struggled. Jabari went 3 of 16. He's still going to be the number 1 pick. That's not going to affect him at all. I think those 2 are the only 2 that leave for the draft.
I agree.
I could see a guy like Allen going in, looking at the draft, but then coming back. Not because he's going to go, not because he expects to get looks, but expects to get feedback to work on this year.
I think a lot with Allen is going to depend on if Wes gets a job. Wes Flanagan, his dad, if he gets a head coaching job somewhere, which you never know. Wes has been a head coach before and wants to be a head coach now. But if Wes goes somewhere, Allen may go with him, and understandably so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to have Allen back. Love to have old Allen back.
Yeah, I want sophomore Allen back.
Yeah.
I expect KD to come back, Zepp to come back, Wendell to come back. So your 3 guards come back. I expect Jalen and Dylan to come back at minimum. Anything could happen. I'm telling you, anything will happen with the transfer rules and portal. Anything can happen. Yep. But we're also going to quickly talk about a few guys that could come in, as Auburn are looking at Julian Phillips and Johan Torre from the decommitments of LSU. Look, LSU had a superstar recruiting class. And then they got sanctioned, had to fire Will Wade, and everybody has decommitted.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are getting looked by Auburn. One of them is 100% crystal ball Auburn to expect to announce. Yep. The 6'10", 5-star center.
I think he's announcing this coming week, and he's he would be a get. Auburn was second in his recruiting, so I think all the crystal balls are like, well, they were second. They expect him to sign with Auburn, so I hope it's Auburn. He's a really good player.
Yeah, he would be the 2nd highest ranked player that Auburn has ever signed, behind the man who will be the number 1 overall pick in the draft this year, Jabari Smith. But good night, King, Jabari Smith, and I believe Walker Kessler, as we await their decisions, wait everybody else's decisions, and watch the Elite Eight, watch the Final Four, cheer on St. Peter's, cheer on the North Carolina Tar Heels for me.
Gonzaga lost.
As long as Duke doesn't win.
Gonzaga lost.
Yeah.
Gonzaga lost.
He's so overrated. Chet Holmgren is so overrated.
I do not root for SEC teams just because they're in the SEC. They're our main competition. I don't do that. Yeah. But I was a huge Piggy fan that night, and look, Chet was terrible. When Chet has a bad game, he ends up with 7 or 8 points and a rebound and a couple blocks. When Jabari had a bad game, he had 10 points and 15 boards and 4 assists. Yep. So I think that Arkansas was physical with Chet Holmgren, and if he thinks they were physical, go into the NBA and play against Joel Embiid. Can you imagine Chet Holmgren trying to guard Joel Embiid? Oh my word! So I was really happy to see Gonzaga lose.
So we will.
All right,
we'll go ahead and get out of here. We plan on recording our season review. We'll talk about all the season, talk about stats, talk about
fun show.
It'll be more of a fun show. It'll be a longer show. Hopefully, get into that next week before the Final Four, and as we prepare for all the announcements ahead and the NBA draft. It's not just around the corner. I am super pumped for the NBA draft this year. I wonder why. So, but we'll.
By the way, Alabama lost in the first round too.
What was?
I had to throw that in.
What was that game?
They have no leadership on that. He doesn't need to bring in athletes. He needs to bring in leaders. Yeah. They had the rumor went around, and I don't know if it's true, but he said it in his post game. The coach said in the post game, we had an open shoot around last night before the game, and one guy showed up. One guy. When I played college basketball, let me tell you, there were non-mandatory shoot-arounds that you could go to, and if you thought about skipping it, the seniors would go and get you out of your hotel room and take you themselves, physically take you to the shoot-around. He doesn't have that on that team. That's why they lost. Yep. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
It's a good sign for us. I'm completely fine if you don't want to. You can go sign a later night. And that's completely fine with me. With this podcast and everybody listening to this podcast is completely fine with us. But we'll go ahead and get out of here. We will talk next week and review this incredible and historic season that Auburn had this year for basketball.
Enjoy the tournament.
Enjoy it. It's a great time of year. Until next time, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode on the E2C Network. On your way out, I want to remind you to stop by e2cnetwork.com. It's your one-stop shop for all our content across our podcast, YouTube channel, and much more. To stay up to date with us, make sure you're following social media accounts such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While our content here may always be Auburn sports heavy, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. War Eagle.